We're just interrupting you briefly to have a chat about the Enjoy an Album Patreon. We launched this recently. It's $5 a month, and for that you get 2 extra episodes per month. You also get, and you'll enjoy this, I'm sure, an ad-free experience. You can listen to the episodes without this advert that you're hearing right now, which is probably annoying.
Never want to hear this again? Easily done.
Yep, and no more Manscaped or other sponsorship adverts. You just get the episode. You also get normal episodes 24 hours before everybody else. If you can't wait for that, Enjoy an Album top-level banter. And also, we've got lots of other exciting things planned for the Patreon, some long deep dives and other things. If you use Apple Music or Apple Podcasts or Pocket Casts, you can get a special RSS feed. So all of the podcasts, the Patreon and non-Patreon, go to a new place. Unfortunately, Spotify don't do that because they are dicks. But yeah, sign up to the Patreon. Also, more than anything else, is the best way to support the podcast. There's like 100 episodes now that are free. If you like us doing it, if you like listening to it, the best way to make sure that it continues for as long as you want to listen to it is to sign up. It's a $5 a month, or there will be a tier for $10 a month if you are Ultrasound. I think we'll call them the Ultra Enjoy an Album Ultras.
I think that's unclear. Become an Enjoy an Album Ultra for £5 a month, and you can be a Slim Cock Bumblebee Balls for $10 a month.
Yes.
Easy done. The first 2 Patreon exclusive episodes are Robbie Williams' Sing When You're Winning and Iron Maiden, The Number of the Beast.
Yes, they're both up, ready, waiting for you to listen. They'll stay there forever. So if you're listening to this in 6 months' time, then there's an extra 6 months worth of episodes. But those are the ones that are already up there as well. So yeah, sign up to the Patreon, enjoy the pod, keep listening to albums, and peace and love in the new millennium.
That's mine.
Yeah, I know, but I thought I'd try saying it. Okay, right. Hey,
peace and love. No, you do it.
Okay, Patreon and love in the new millennium. Starting this episode with another Patreon cue, for this time from Craig. He says, if you could magically go back in time and record an album that someone else made, what would it be? I daydream about this all the time. Can imagine the actual artist being fuming. So the question, I guess, is if you were to have made a classic album and then, I guess, take on the life of the person who had it.
No, because they'll be raging. So they also had to live their life, but not have this moment that you've beat them.
But they somehow know
to the punch.
But they somehow know that.
They know that.
Yeah.
So that happened to me.
What do you mean?
Because I wrote a song and then somebody else had it already.
What song?
It was a Steel Panther song that I think I spoke with this in the podcast recently.
Yeah,
it might have been on another podcast.
I wrote Someone Like You, and then Adele wrote the same song.
Mm-hmm. Someone like you. Whoa.
Maybe I'll find someone like you. I remember sitting. It was when I used to run a gig at the Tron pub in Edinburgh, and there was this old mad couple who every Wednesday. Have I talked about this before? Okay, you can go back and find this. So what album do I wish I had made from an artist who's already made it, but then they haven't made it in this fantasy?
Because I guess you'd have to hate the artist to try and
fuck them
their
up.
life.
Or you would.
I don't want to ruin anybody in Metallica's life.
Yeah, I guess. It's a really stupid question.
Don't like it. Thanks, Craig. No, I wish I could go back and do LCD Sound System's Sound of Silver before them, because then they would never have broke my heart when it turned out they were Secret Poshos.
Yeah, I guess it's
and
like
I would be a famous disco king.
Yeah, I would love to. It's like I would love to have been an observational comedian in like the 70s.
Yeah, when they just discovered eyes.
Yeah,
everybody was observing stuff for the first time.
Well, yeah, the genre didn't really exist that much. You know what I mean? So you would have just cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess being the first of something would be cool.
Yeah. What would you like to be the first of?
New metal.
You want to invent new metal?
Yeah, the first new metal
Rage
band.
Against the Machine?
Yes. First Rage Against the Machine album was by Liam Withnail. That's my answer.
Absolutely insane question. Thanks so much, Craig. Really appreciate it. This week we've got a special guest, Gareth Waugh, aka Gary Wow Wow. AKA he just left the room we're recording this into.
Really furiously after you said that about him. We're doing a video game soundtrack this week, so we're broadening our horizons.
Don't moan about it.
What? Oh, you mean them? Yeah, no, don't moan about it, okay? Or what? Nobuo Uematsu isn't on the list. Wah, 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 wah. I'm a little baby.
See that wee guy who was like, oh, they only do albums everybody already speaks about. All my friends speak about Phoebe Bridgers and the Libertines. Well, guess what? Now I didn't fucking Nobuo Uematsu, you wee freak, so shut up. Anyway, great love to all
Good to know that if you levy any criticism at the podcast, we will change our entire oeuvre from that point onwards to try and satisfy you and then scream angrily at you from that point onwards.
This is how I was taught to love.
Yeah, we had Gary Waugh in.
He's got his own podcast.
Go check out his podcast, 2Gs in a Pod. He's a nice young man. Also, great stand-up. Clips of him. Oh, that's a great clip of him.
He also has an NFL podcast called...
No, he's not on that anymore. Listen, great app. Enjoy. Thanks so much, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Peace and love in the new millennium.
This episode of Enjoy an Album is brought to you by our friends at Manscaped, the #1 products for below-the-belt grooming. Fellas, if you need a little spruce up in your downstairs department, you can do no better than getting some Manscaped products in your life. They sent us the kits out. We've showed them here before. We've used them. If you have ever had a little go at having a little tidy up downstairs with your razor maybe or your beard trimmer, you've more than likely had a little nip. You've maybe caught yourself.
Your Johnson looks like fucking Freddy Voorhees' face. Is that the guy's name?
Who's that?
Freddy Voorhees.
Who is that?
Jason Voorhees. Your face looks like Freddy Voorhees is when Freddy and Jason had a baby.
Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Shit.
Anyway,
your dick looks like Freddy Krueger's dick.
If you don't want your penis to look like a horror character's penis, unnamed, then you got to use the right equipment, and the right equipment is your Manscaped lawnmower. Okay, so you're getting down with another person, and they take off your pants. What do you want them to see? Do you want them to see a big bloody hairy mess, or do you want them to see a nice, smooth, sculpted? Hey, this person takes care of themselves and is hygienic. The lawnmower plugs in, same charger as my phone. Very handy.
Yeah. You're on the train, charge it up.
Use that little thing on the train. Go to
See
the
when
train
it has
bathroom?
that sign that says only for phones and laptops. It's expressly so you don't charge your dick groomer.
Yep. Also, Manscaped, they have the nose hair trimmers.
That's actually class, man. Obviously, all the dick shaving stuff's good as well, but my nose was a state and my ears were a state. Now they look dynamite.
Yes, they sure do. I've been thinking about your nose recently, and I think it looks much better. Also, they do the most comfortable boxers. I don't think I told you this, but after speaking about how comfortable the boxers were, my partner used the album code to buy some of the boxers for me for Christmas. So now I have like 5 different pairs of them. It's all I wear is the Manscaped boxers.
Of that.
Yeah, very, very comfortable.
They are very comfy, actually.
Mm-hmm.
They are very comfy.
And it all comes in a nice sort of wash bag, nice leather wash bag.
My old wash bag, man, I had this wash bag for ages.
My old wash bag.
My old wash bag down in the docks. Played bass for Iron Maiden in 1978.
So if you want to support the podcast, one of the ways you can do it is get yourself some grooming gear. You get something out of it. Use the code ALBUM20. You get 20% off. That then supports us, helps us with the sponsor. Everyone is happy. Least of all, your 2 lovely nuts. I believe you can use the product.
And listen, I know we have a lot of ladies who listen. Mm-hmm. And you're thinking, I don't feel like you're advertising to me. Buy this for a guy.
Buy it for your partner.
Do you have any men in your life?
The thing, sometimes men feel
you don't
embarrassed.
want to say, do you have any men in your life? But if you have a dad or a cousin that you're close with, a brother, partner, husband, boyfriend,
any different relationship that you can think of.
Maybe you're close friends with a man who's on your swimming team and you think you could be more aerodynamic or smoother for the swim.
Yeah.
That's
maybe you're planning
example.
the Tour de France and you're worried that the pubic hair is going to slow down your cycling team. You thought about that?
No longer.
Album 20. Thanks so much.
You're listening to Enjoy an Album, the podcast where two comedians listen to some of the greatest albums of all time.
Oh, I have to improvise a blurb.
We have to improvise a blurb. Can't find one on the internet.
Yeah, okay. So
Google is in the dirt.
one of the most celebrated video game musicians of all time, Nobuo Uematsu, has changed the way that the world views the music of the video game industry. His work on Final Fantasy has reinvigorated
Because it was invigorated before.
Heavily influenced by Radiohead's Kid A.
I don't think it was.
No, it came out before, didn't it?
No, that's just a classic Rolling Stone. Anyway, listen, it's a game soundtrack we're doing this week because we have a guest with us. His name is
Special guest.
His name is Gareth Waugh. Round of applause.
Oh,
Don't clap yourself.
I've got it. It sounds pathetic otherwise.
Improvise after interrupting my improvisation blurbed. I can't speak.
Blurbed.
Okay, blurbed. Yeah, I'm so angry.
You just blubbed that out.
Yeah, if you. Oh, good. You know what? I should be honest. This is on the back. We've already recorded an episode today. People would have listened to it last week, and me and Chris had an argument on the episode, and I'm just worried that some of that energy is going to creep into this.
Cool. Good. Glad to be here.
So it's like when you go out for dinner with a couple who've just destroyed each other.
Just looking at your phone there. That's
no,
good.
I'm just looking at my making sure things are okay.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry,
Gareth,
I'm babysitting.
welcome to the Enjoy an Album podcast.
Gotta feel very welcome. Thanks, guys.
It's gonna and this week, yeah, we're doing it. We've gone a little bit off piste. This isn't a classic album. This is a.
Whoa, where's the piece? We're not there.
We need to get to the pizzeria, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
we're gonna get the chairlift back down.
Gareth has brought in. He's got this on vinyl. Can you pick this up and show the camera?
Yeah.
We have. There you go. The picture disc vinyl of the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack by Nobuo Uematsu. How long have you owned this record, Gareth?
Well, my mum gave me the money to buy it for my birthday.
How old are you?
33.
Okay.
And
Just checking.
it
Just out of
wasn't the
interest.
last birthday, it was the birthday before.
Oh.
And I didn't buy it in time. So I should have got a numbered version. This is just another one. It's an unnumbered, tarnished thing.
You
but,
brought in an unnumbered vinyl.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Wow.
I
Okay.
know. I thought it'd be best to admit that straight up.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at it going, where is the numbers on this vinyl? I can't see it.
I knew it would come back, and I didn't want to pretend. And then somebody in the comments and the clips
should have
and
written-
whatever.
should have written
we
a
got
number
lot
on
of
it.
comments on it.
It's just Roman numerals, which aren't numbers.
You
Only Final Fantasy and Super Bowls use the old Roman numerals
And WrestleMania until
and Romans.
20. Yeah.
And Romans, classically. So, listen, that you are obviously a big Final Fantasy head,
Oh yeah,
bit of a Final Fantasy VII freak.
oh
Is it,
boy.
is it all the FFs that you're into, or is it just 7 mainly?
7 was like the first one I played,
Yep.
so I think that's my favorite. But I'm into them all.
Have you played all of them?
Not all of them. I haven't played 2, 3, or 5.
Yep.
I believe, or
Okay.
11 because that was only online.
Yeah, just like 14.
So
14.
let me run you through the format of the podcast.
Right.
Okay. We normally start by me and Chris will ask each other what we knew about the artist or the album prior to our research this week. Okay. So Christopher, what's your knowledge on Final Fantasy VII?
I remember getting Final Fantasy X
Different one.
borrowed.
First PS2 one.
First PS2 one was a PS2 one. I wanted to play Final Fantasy VII, and my dad was like, no, because it's one of those games where you don't press X and you hit someone. It's like you click a menu that says attack,
Yeah.
and he was like, that doesn't interest him.
He's not into
Right.
the turn-based
Listen,
battling battle
Obviously,
systems.
and obviously Final Fantasy 10 totally not that.
no. But like, I remember my dad saying that, and it's just one of those difficult things about that generation of guys. They're not comfortable talking about turn-based combat.
All right.
So would he?
I thought you'd be way into it.
But what about Pokemon?
I'll surprise you, my dad's not a huge Pokemon head.
What really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but were you allowed Pokemon?
I was allowed to play it for my Game Boy because it wasn't his console.
Oh.
The PlayStation 1 was his console.
Your dad
when I
had a
played it.
PlayStation 1?
Yes.
That's very hip.
Huge Resident Evil fan, huge Tomb Raider
Trying
fan.
to imagine my dad having a PlayStation.
Mine's also did. I played it mostly with him.
Really?
Yeah.
You had cool dads. My dad, what is this? It's American crap.
It's not even Japanese.
Yeah, that doesn't bother old Papa with now, let me tell you.
Yeah, he's not restrained by
Interchangeable.
facts.
So you didn't play Final Fantasy VII until
Never
you were older?
Well, I played 10.
Right.
Loved it, but I only borrowed it from the video shop on Bailston Main Street, not the Blockbuster. Next
I really want to
Yum's
point out
Kitchen.
10 is also turn-based combat.
Yes.
No, but my dad didn't play that. This was me getting it for myself.
Right.
The PS2 is more my console.
Right.
Although it was in his room. Let's not go into that. And I loved 10, and I always heard about 7. And then I had friends at high school who were like weebs. And they loved Kingdom Hearts and they loved Final Fantasy VII. And then I got my friend Johnny a figure, or my friend Hazel, got her a figure of Vincent Valentine for her birthday.
Yeah.
She had Dirge of Cerberus. And then I think it must have been a couple of years ago, I got the Switch and or it was a PlayStation, and they came out with the remakes that just came out of 7, 8 and 9. And I got 7 and I played through it and I just loved it. And then I discovered you loved it. There was so much. That's why, most of the times we ask the guest what they want to talk about.
Yes.
But I wanted to talk about this, so I pitched this to you. Would you come on and talk about it?
And I said absolutely.
Yeah. What would you have picked if you could have went for like a...
Probably the Final Fantasy X soundtrack.
That's turn-based as fuck. Although it did abandon the active...
Yeah. It was
I'm just slightly concerned that our regular music listeners may not get some of the references in the gaming world. So I just want to make sure we stay on top of that and we don't lose anyone along the way.
Message to those people: fuck up.
So I had Final Fantasy VII, or actually, you know what? We didn't own it. We had a PlayStation 1, and my
we called it just the PlayStation back then.
Yeah,
we didn't know there was going to be a 2.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that because actually,
Yeah.
You did have the PS1.
The 2 was out already.
Because then they did release the PS1, which was a small,
the
thin
smaller one. That's the one we had.
It was bulbous.
Okay.
That's the one we had, and then everyone else got a PS2, and we got the PS1, and everyone made fun of us, man.
Yeah.
So, you're too poor to afford a new one. I'm like, we're not poor. We're doing okay, actually.
My dad just doesn't trust the Japanese American electronics industry.
He had no problem with them personally. However, he was correct in buying the cheap one because it was stolen shortly after. Our house was robbed and they stole the PlayStation 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Low ambition robbers.
Yeah.
They should have been robbing a house with a PS2, I reckon.
Well, yeah. I mean, look,
Dreamcast.
well, it's lucky that they wouldn't get much for that these days, would they? Well, actually, these days they probably would.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
it's pretty
fact,
hip.
if you stole a Dreamcast in the
I'll
year
buy it off you.
2006. Anyway,
CEX is calling.
2 doors down from me, there was a young boy, Alex, his name was, and Alex was a bit of a naughty boy. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
we would sometimes play over the.
Was he younger than you?
He was, yes, a little bit younger than me.
Right.
Okay, and he did have a PlayStation 2. It's not actually important. What is important was he had Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, right.
My older brother, who was a very good boy, borrowed his copy of Final Fantasy VII and played it and loved it. And that's my first interaction with it. Watching my brother playing it, me playing it a bit. I don't think I ever got past the first disc. It was one of those games that came with 4 discs.
3.
3 discs.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, nerds.
Yeah.
Anyway, one day I went down to play the game. I opened the case, and what should I see? But inside the case, the back of each of the discs had been scratched to smithereens.
Oh, my goodness.
Someone had taken a key to the back of these CDs
Wow.
in order to destroy
Like
them.
a fancy car.
Yes. Just big shock, big revelation. What the fuck is going on? Okay. My brother said, oh, yeah, it arrived like that. You know what Alex is like. He's a bad boy. He
Yeah.
scratched up the discs. I'm like, this doesn't make any goddamn sense.
It's his.
It's already played in this house. It's worked before. My brother had, years later, admitted that he did the scratching in a moment of madness
Yeah.
and blamed it on the bad boy down the road, who then was punished
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
for ruining his own property.
Why did he do that?
Yeah, why did your brother do that?
Very curious. He doesn't know.
Moment of madness.
Just a moment of just,
Badness.
sometimes good boys go bad.
I remember one time my dad kept playing this 4x4 Monster Trucks game for the PS1. And I don't want to go after my dad here, but
Go
you're
after
gonna-
him. Go get him.
Neil, if you're watching, the fact that you were interested in the 4x4 Monster Trucks game, which to me isn't critically acclaimed, whereas this, well, this is a classic. He wasn't
Yeah.
interested. That's your own taste, and different strokes for different folks. But
Sure. Looks like some people like The Great Milenko by Insane Clown Possum. Nobody likes that apart from Chris, but it doesn't matter.
So, my dad kept playing this game, this 4x4 game, and I was like, Dad, I don't want to watch this. Why would you play a cool game? And he kept playing it and kept playing it. And I went, okay. And I took the case, I snapped it in half,
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
and I put it in front of him.
Like a cat bringing home a mouse.
Which has happened a couple of times. I remember another time I got an Action Man astronaut.
Yep. You snapped it in half?
No, I broke
no.
his legs.
Good luck walking in space.
Probably be easier walking in space than walking here. But then would it be? What do you think about that? This is a segment we do every week. Is it easy walking in space when your legs are broken?
I think
Let's do the theme.
it's hard to walk.
Crystal's answer was really good, wasn't it?
space when your legs are broken.
You could spacewalk. I don't think you could moonwalk.
No.
Whoa.
Good answer.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm just so curious about your brother scratching this disc up to frame this.
I don't know why you're curious when you just said you did almost the exact same thing.
Yeah, and also you smashed the case, which had no
Good luck
impact on the game.
storing it.
Good luck keeping this.
You're gonna have to
from
play it
getting
forever,
scratched.
Dad. Your plan was terrible, actually. You wanted him to stop playing it. He couldn't stop playing it. He
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to keep it.
I just don't know how to speak with my words sometimes.
I think that's what happened to my brother. I think we became overwhelmed with something. I don't know what. Maybe something was going on
Was it
in
when
his life.
Spoiler alert! When Aerith died, he decided I don't want to live in this world anymore.
Maybe.
Just keep the fucking disc.
Maybe, but I don't think it was game related. I think he just felt. I mean, he just felt anger.
If someone had never played this game before, Gareth, how would you synopsisize it?
It's sort of like a group of ragtag misfits,
Terrorists.
eco-terrorists,
Yes.
band together to save the world. First, they're doing it by like blowing up power plants, and then they go, "Whoa, there's a way bigger threat to the environment, which is space. We got to stop space from smacking us up."
Uh-huh.
But then the planet has self-defense mechanisms, which turn out to be giant Japanese monsters, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So it's a role-playing game, RPG.
JRPG.
I do think that's kind of a bizarre, like, it's a weird way to describe games nowadays.
As a JRPG?
Well, just as a role-playing game. Like I don't feel like, I don't know. Do you feel like you are?
I'm playing a role.
Do you feel like that when you're playing a game? All games are kind of that now, aren't they? Anyway,
because you could rename the characters. I never did because I would never sully the game.
I did.
You could name yourself.
You're not going to call Cloud asshole or something?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Boner.
What are you doing, asshole? Ah!
Got him.
Got him.
So you play Cloud, the main dude.
Yes, you
big
did.
spiky blonde hair.
Blonde hair, big old sword.
Yeah, weird shaped
Not the biggest
muscles.
guy. Bit of a stolen valor about him. He pretended that he was a guy that he wasn't, and
He pretended to be Zack.
pretended to be Zack from Soldier, a much better soldier, but then weirdly outdone him. Saved the world. Ladies man. I think I liked him because he was like short and misfit, misunderstood. Like the obvious hero.
You
in
feel
other
like
games.
you're misunderstood?
You got spiky hair as well?
Yeah.
I do now.
You got a
Did
big
you spec that?
sword?
You just make this up just for
Oh
today?
no! Why would I admit this? When I was 16,
Yes.
I took in the DVD Advent Children, and I took it into my hairdressers, and I said, I want this hair.
What's Advent Children?
It's the movie sequel to the Final Fantasy VII game, and I said I want to look like Cloud, and the guy was like, "Sure."
Coben, are we getting this up?
Oh no, let's not get it out.
Ginger Cloud.
I took it into Shane's on the high street. Now, quite a mainstream sort of.
Is it like a gents barbers or one of those like
No.
Turkish barbers?
It was more a female barber. Here's the case right here. That one. Yeah, you go.
You took in this
I
case.
took in no, not that. This one just to the right of it. There you
So
go.
let's
And I
for
said
the
that's what I want.
Did you think he could do that?
He informed me that he could not do it.
So for the audio listeners, I mean, it's just like a sort of blonde emo. It's a bit emo, isn't it?
There's a lot of straight and stuff. It's very this is a niche reference for 7 comedians that maybe listen to this. It's very Tony Jameson.
Yes.
There's a
Tony
touch of
Jameson
the-
did used to have hair like that.
There is a touch of the Pre-Football Manager Tony Jameson.
Correct.
I will say a lot less than 7 comedians listen to this. Thank you.
Oh, really?
Maybe there's one comedian that listens to this, and that is me on the edit.
Yeah.
Oh,
So obviously you're Final Fantasy pilled to the extreme. How
Yeah.
often would you say? I mean, you've bought this, you got it on vinyl.
yeah.
How often would you put it on?
I've listened to it twice. I listened to it when I got it, and I listened to it today to prepare for this.
That's cool. That's very.
I just like it. I think it's a cool thing to have. You don't always have to.
But you are quite into you had sort of one of those subscriptions to like a sort of gaming tap box, didn't you?
Loot box.
Oh, I tried Lootbox for a bit, man. It sucked so bad.
I've never done it because I just know they would send me a bunch of Borderlands 2 loot, and I'll be like, I've never played that.
I got
man.
some cool shit, to be fair, but it was a bit too much for what it was.
Chris likes Funko Pops. So
I don't mind a Funko Pop.
how many Funko Pops you got?
None, but I like to look at them when I'm in a shop.
How many Funko Pops are in your house, Chris?
I'm not even.
Yeah,
I'm
he
not
made
even
him
putting my voice in the
slink
microphone.
down
I don't
into
want to
his
talk about
chair.
it.
How many are in your house?
I'm not even going to answer them. I'm not going to dignify that where I was born.
There's 4 or 5.
Yeah.
What's your favourite Funko Pop?
Listen,
you've got?
don't bring my girlfriend's interest into the podcast.
But you've got one.
Her.
You've got a Linkin Park Funko Pop. I know that because I gave it to you at the live show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good laugh.
So that's yours.
Good laugh. Everybody went home happy that day.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway,
Weird way to act about a gift, but okay.
Well, you shouldn't give people gifts they don't like. And thanks, by the way, for the
Wow, rude.
900-page book about sad gay people in New York that you got
Yeah.
me.
Did
That
you
I'm
read
not
that?
going to fucking read.
Wow.
But hey, I got you a nice record that you like. So
See, a lot of tension. A lot of tension.
no tension. I'm not tense.
I'm tense.
I'm not tense. Don't bring up my girlfriend's action figure collection on the pod. And don't laugh like Muttley from Wacky Races, you fucking freak.
I wonder if it's a Muttley Funko Pop. I'll bring it in next
I own
week.
it. It's above my bed. Every time I have a wank in bed, with a shake and knocks it off the shelf and it lands on my head and I go...
Do you remember when we bumped into each other in Forbidden Planet in Newcastle?
Me and you?
Yeah. I seen you.
Great.
You were kissing the Funko Pops.
Yes.
I'm sorry. That's
Yeah, you should be.
That's great. Okay, so let's jump into a little bit of the background on
let's get away to the
Nobuo
Funko
Uematsu.
Yeah.
Chris does a jingle.
Don't bring that now. Where does it go again?
What, you mean Secret Posho?
Secret Posho. No, that's a bad one.
What is this?
Secret Posho. Secret Posho. You do it fast and it feels like that show got no money. You got that bro. Secret Posho.
No idea. There is not much information about this guy whatsoever. So what we have here for a podcast about albums is we have selected an album that is, first off, almost entirely instrumental. It is 4.5 hours long on Spotify, and there is little information about its composer online. I tell you what I did find out. He studied at a private university in Kanagawa. So
The Kanagawa province.
the old there's Kochi Prefecture.
Oh, the coffee pre-shop.
What's happening right now? Sorry, I have no idea.
This is where we go into the background
Of him?
the artist.
I could tell you how he got the job.
Well, we understand. So what we do is we basically find out. You know, that you're aware of the Nepo babies.
I'm very aware of them.
Yeah,
Which
so
is
Sat
think
with
of
two of them right now.
my dad was a postman, and thus I have great delivery.
I think
Thank you very
we're
much.
angry at the wrong people, man. Like, you can be angry at them, but that's not really their fault. We should be angry at their parents and society that's
So
put
you
them in
think
that
their
place.
parents should have killed them when they
Correct.
were born?
Yeah, it's
Brick-
not really about being angry about them.
Bricksbag
It's more about
Canal.
whether or not their privilege changes your relationship with the
Deserving,
work.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, like, you know, if you love this music, finding out, you know, if you were to find out that Nobuo Uematsu's father was like, you know, worked for a weapons manufacturer, would you be like, oh, that's actually then fucked up that you wrote
No, I think that would make a lot of sense and inspire him to write songs about weapons.
being anti-war? Yeah.
If you found out that his dad was Shinzo Abe, how would that make you? Do you know who he is?
How the fuck would he be a church?
Yes, man. Honk, 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 honk.
Clip that.
This is why it's good to get. Yes. Thank you, Kobin.
Yeah, probably not cool.
So
I like him.
Nobuo Uematsu, he the Kanagawa University. I know quite a lot about Japan. I lived in Japan for a while.
How long? A week?
A short amount. It was a bit longer than a week. Thank you.
10 days.
It was
10 days is it? A bit of time for a holiday.
It was a little bit longer than 10 days. Actually, thanks very much.
How long were you in Japan?
3 weeks. 3 weeks.
That's living.
Lived there.
Anything over 20 days is living, I'd say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Actually, I would agree
Did
with
a
that.
full term in Japan.
Yeah.
What did you learn about the culture when you were there?
I mean,
That it's fun to wear little Japanese shirts and run about with your wife.
Running about. You're a lot of running about, mate?
yeah, we did a lot of running about in Japan. Completed a triathlon in a traditional Japanese wear. No, listen, I mean, do we have enough time to sum up Japanese culture on this podcast? I think not. You wouldn't understand that as you've never lived there.
We could focus on one subset of Japanese culture, their export of video game music.
Wow.
Oh, VGM.
Gareth, don't come on our podcast and try and re-rail it after we chat shit, okay?
Sorry.
No,
I don't know
that's
what
the
the
right
vibe
thing.
is.
How dare
I thought it was
you?
really interesting when Gareth tried to talk about something he knew about the artist, and you were like, no, we do something else.
Yeah.
We talk about my holidays.
Please don't do facts, please. Gareth, you
Sorry.
are misjudging the vibe here.
Understood.
Yes, no, you know what, Gareth? Please do tell us how Nobuo.
No, I'm
Uematsu-
embarrassed to know.
He graduated from university and got a job making music.
Secret Posho.
Making music for TV commercials. He lived in a single flat and knew a bunch of creative people. He wanted to be a musician but had no formal training or way of pursuing that dream. And then one day, a friend of his suggested that he make video game music and took him down to Square.
She worked there. She worked for Square and said, could you make video game music? And he went, sure.
Yeah. So that was for Final Fantasy I.
Yeah.
Wait, what console was that on?
It's the NES.
NES, yeah.
Also known as the Famicom in Japan.
So, I mean, imagine trying to make music on that, like 8-bit. Was it even 8-bit?
Yeah, it's 8-bit.
It was 8-bit, yeah.
And it's 16-bit on the SNES or
You basically had
Famicom.
5 different sounds. And so some of the music in this is kind of bore from that and the limitations that...
Well, some of the tracks have stayed the same the whole time. Like the Prelude's always the same, isn't it? And the Chocobo theme's always the same.
The Prelude, he thought he was done with all the music on the first one, and then the boss came in and was like, we need a piece of music for like the start screen. Like, like when you're waiting to go start game, load game, options. They wanted a little tune for that, so he had half an hour. They're like, on you go. And he just came up with the Prelude, and they've used it for every single game since.
Yeah, it's beautiful as well.
Yeah. Really simple.
It's an arpeggio.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. I mean, it's amazing when you hear stuff like it's like Dolly Parton writing Jolene and I Will Always Love You in one day.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, sometimes the best things really do just shoot out of your hot dick. Glad no one disagrees with that.
Correct. Yeah.
When you're right, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't think of anything funny to say to the absolute truth.
If it takes any longer for stuff to show out your dick, you need to see the doctor, bro.
So would you be interested in like going to see live versions of this or anything? Would you?
I think almost definitely, yeah.
Because it is a thing that tours, like they have like Final Fantasy live music
I've
shows.
looked at it before, yeah. I think any sort of video game music I'd go see performed by an orchestra. I think that'd be pretty magical.
If they'd done the Sims soundtrack, could you go see that?
Not just The Sims. I'd need something else to go along.
The Sims plus Sims 2.
Oh, forget about it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The Sims House Party.
Unleashed, mayhaps?
Yeah.
My favourite DLC.
Here's an interesting thing, okay? So do you think there's any video game music that truly would be able to transfer over to mainstream listenership? So because majority of people listening to this are people who've played the game, right?
But that's, I mean, everyone... Mainstream, it's like, I think the thing with video game music is you probably listen to it more than most songs because you're playing the game and it repeats all the time throughout the game. Everyone would know the Pokemon theme if they heard it like dun 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 dun. And so that when you hear a song you remember from like growing up, it takes you back to that sort of time. I think the thing with video game music. It takes you back to that time, but also to a different world that you were part of for a little while.
Absolutely. So I guess my question is, do you think there is any examples of video game music that are that exist outside of that nostalgic? I remember playing this. Is there anything you could say? Listen to that, and people would be like, "Oh my god, this shit slaps." Having never played the game.
I went to watch Celtic versus Benfica once.
Yes, great.
And the Benfica fans, right? One row would jump to the right, one row would jump to the left, and they were all singing Popcorn. Do you remember that? Yeah. So like,
From Tetris. Perfect example.
And it was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen.
You know what? I can't have asked for a better example of a song that has made the transference over from video game into the cultural consciousness than Popcorn.
Yeah.
What an excellent guest.
Yeah.
I went to see Benfica play football, and before the game, a trained eagle flies around the stadium.
You kidding on?
No. You stand
That
there.
sounds like a classic use of exaggeration for comedic effect.
No, you go to the ground, and half an hour before the football kicks off, someone walks out with a big fucking eagle on their arm, and then the eagle comes and flies all the way around the stadium, and they play some fucking old Spanish song, and everyone claps, and then they start the game with football.
What happened that time where somebody let a bird out in the football grounds and someone kicked the ball at it? Was that?
Someone kicked the ball at a bird?
That was Ted Lasso.
It was Ted Lasso. It was also
That wasn't
a
real.
dog.
That was a classic exaggeration for comedic effect by the sitcom. It was a dog as well.
It was a dog, yeah.
How they done it in a baseball game?
Somebody threw a baseball and a bird flew, right in front of it. Seagull, I believe.
Are there any other video game soundtracks that you listen to or like?
I've got a playlist on my Spotify that's called Classical,
Really?
which is mostly just video game soundtracks.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I pretend that I'm like listening.
Is it a
to
public
classical music.
playlist?
It might be. I don't know.
I think that was something that could be something that we share to our patrons. Gareth Waugh's classic.
If you want.
Yeah.
No,
There's a lot of classical stuff on there as well. I added more classical afterwards because I was embarrassed about anybody looking and seeing it's just the opening theme to Finding Nemo and then several video game soundtracks.
Music.
Somewhere beyond the sea. This guy likes his classical music, man.
Robbie
Michael
Williams
Bublé
version
out?
as well.
Oh yeah, Robert Williams. Yeah.
Music from this album made it
Robin Williams,
to
Robin
the
Williams.
Classic FM's top 500 classical musical pieces of all time
Aerith's theme, I believe.
in 2003.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been my guess. That is one of my favorites.
Sorry, 2013. Here's the thing, though. I think it was a bit of a. There was basically a guy with a bit of an influencer at the time who was like, video games should be represented in the Classic FM thing.
Yeah.
So it was like they got
They do now have a video game music show on Classic FM.
Yeah. I think they catered to their market because they got 250,000 more votes.
They're never
than
going to
ever
get
would.
young people to listen to it otherwise.
No.
So Dark Souls is a great classical
Phenomenal.
soundtrack theme.
There's loads because I think the thing with Final Fantasy VII and Nobu said that the One Winged Angel was the first time he pictured an orchestra playing a piece of music, and that's the big famous one. It's 4 different songs stapled together. But to go from that to now, I think video games take it quite serious. You always talk about the progression of graphics. Everyone will go, "Whoa, look at we went from Pong to Modern Warfare, bro." But
Whoa.
oh, that's crazy.
There's
People
a
say
kind
But they
of-
never really talk about the music. You had Pac-Man where it was just
That is class, to be fair.
And
Yeah.
now it is quite big, orchestrated
arrangements.
music. Yeah. So it's I think it's something you take in without really thinking about. But I was listening to the Cleric Beast song from Bloodborne.
Cleric Beast, that song slaps. But you
slaps.
can't really hear it when you're playing it because the Cleric Beast just got.
Screeching. That's the thing. I was listening to it. Yeah.
You're like, all right, I want to hear this song.
I was listening to it on the way here, and I wanted the screeches.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not good without it.
Just get me in, man. I'll scream in your face if you want for the real Cleric Beast experience. Very funny.
They say about soundtracks that for movies,
Yeah.
the best soundtracks are the ones that you don't really notice. If you notice a soundtrack, supposedly it's not doing its job.
Do you know who says that though? Fucking
Dweebs.
idiots.
Yeah, okay.
Idiot dweebs. People who want a fucking knuckle sandwich. That's who says that.
There was I used to have as my ringtone
Oh yeah.
the battle theme for Final Fantasy VII.
It's actually the victory theme.
Victory fanfare.
Yeah. The
Okay.
battle theme's a different thing.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, there is 100 tracks on this that I had to listen to this week. 4.5 hours
Did
of
you have
music.
100 tracks as the ringtone on your phone? Or should you fucking know that?
Yes.
Anyway, my favourite music for video games is British Sea Power, now known as Sea Power's soundtrack to Disco Elysium.
Yes.
It's got a great... there's this bar in it. It's like a hostel. You played it?
I've not, no.
There's a hostel in it where you wake up with amnesia, and it has 3 different variations on the same song depending on what time you're there. So in the morning it's quite like... Then when I get to like 8 p.m, it's like a disco version with like electronic drums
cool.
and stuff, but it's the same song. And then at like, when it's closing time, it's like a very
Grime. It's grime at closing
That's what I
time.
really like as well. I was going to bring that up. Like with video game composers, they don't do like just one genre really. They do all the different things.
Because
Yeah.
in this, it's like Cosmo Canyon's like Cowboy Song, and then Sephiroth's like fucking Stravinsky, and then
Yeah. And it's kind of like a rock opera.
yeah,
He said he took a lot of inspiration from rock operas, which is
Yeah.
always cool.
yeah.
But like even something like, because they'll get a brief like, right, this level's underwater, and they're like, right, we all know what an underwater level sounds like now.
What's your least
Bingo.
favourite underwater level?
Sonic, the original Sonic.
Oh
Right,
yeah,
in
you
the
guys
bubble.
always drowning.
Nah, man, he hates it. He's a hedgehog, should be swimming. That's exactly it.
Yeah, Alex the Kid, when he would go underwater as well. You remember that? The game that came inbuilt with the Sega Mega Drive. You never played Alex the Kid?
Yes, I did, yeah.
I don't think I did.
Wow, I thought I was talking to a retro gamer over here, but apparently not.
Yeah, we're a couple of Alex the adults over here.
What do you think of the cover of the... wait, hang on, interesting green sleeves, because Waugh actually has a picture disc. So if we can hold this up, we do a feature called Dream Sleeves, where we discuss the sleeve of the record, the album cover, and what we think of it. So this is, am I right in saying this is Big Sky, a picture of Big Sky, the area in Final Fantasy?
This is Midgar.
Midgar, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where's Big Sky?
Yeah.
Is it not called Big Sky?
I think you're thinking of big country.
This guy smoking hash.
What's Big Sky? Have I just made that
You've
up?
made that up, sir, yes. It's
This
Midgar.
is the rotten pizza.
Yes.
This is the city that's been built up by Shinra, the evil.
Tell you what, I think this is why this blew my mind, this game at first, because I thought this was in space. When I
Right.
first seen this, I was like, well, it's like a
Spaceship.
spaceship or something.
Big
And then
flying
when you
saucer.
leave it and it's a whole world, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's on Earth.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Midgar. That's the city built on top of another kind of city, which is all slums below it now.
Yeah, so it's like dystopian city vibes on the front cover. I think it looks pretty cool.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
sick.
Whether or not you know about the game, I think it looks interesting.
I think you look at that and you go, this is going to be weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you show this off in your house?
It's been sitting on top of my record
sorry.
player for no, it's my fault for a little while. Sorry, ooh, that's a horrible noise.
I
And
like it.
I
Keep
just
digging.
set it on top.
I wouldn't worry about horrible noises on this podcast.
Okay, and then you got like,
Whoa.
look at it.
That's the cover on
Sides.
fucking Apple Music, man.
Okay,
It
so
is.
on the back of the vinyl, for the audio listeners, you have a picture of Gareth after getting his hair cut, age 14.
with my chibber.
And there's Best Girl, Aerith.
I listened to a podcast that called Aerith One Dimensional, and they were like, "Why were everybody sad when she died?" And I was like, "Fuck you! She tried to save the world on her own."
Gareth, speaking of that event, is it true that you did not complete the game for years because you were too sad about the prospect of her dying?
No, that's not true at all.
No, 'cause
she
she
dies
dies at the end of
disc
the first
one.
disc.
Yeah, I got to the end of the game for about, I guess, 25 years, 30 years maybe. I just didn't want the game to end. I enjoyed being in the world,
Right,
and I
I
didn't
see.
want it to be over. So I would often get to the end and do a bunch of other stuff, and then stop playing, and then go and start it again.
Do you know this is a classic ADHD thing? Do you have that?
I almost definitely do, but
Yeah.
I've never. I don't want to get tested.
I don't want to get tested either, man.
You get free Ritalin.
I don't want to be on a list for these fucking fascists. I say, I can't watch TV programs if they don't have subtitles because I look at my phone, and then 5 years' time, fucking Mecha Pretty Patel shows up with fucking cyborg guys and shoots me to death because I'm a fucking freak. You kidding on, bro? I'm not getting on a list. So.
I've never wanted to be on it more.
So you can die and get away from this.
I have a ongoing theory that Chris does not have ADHD. He just has no manners. Okay.
I'm quite rude, and people have said that to me before. And I'm trying not to be on my phone in green rooms now, but I'm on it all. I don't want to.
Well, I think we're all addicted to our phone stuff.
Yeah. But I got the other stuff going on as well. My cousin's a primary school teacher, and she saw me bouncing my knee and doing a bunch of shit. And she was like, "Have you ever been tested for ADHD?" And I was like, "No." And I was like, "How would you know?" And she was like, "I deal with kids that have it all day, every day, and you have all the symptoms." And I was like, "Sick."
I think when someone asks you if you've been tested for ADHD, that's a bit of a dig, isn't it? It's like, hey, you're not acting normally.
Well, yeah, what's normal? I would say back to them, and then they'd feel guilty and leave me alone.
It's just, I read a symptom that was people, you get to near the end of a project and you're getting so much dopamine from it that you refuse to let it end because you just want the continual dopamine stream to continue getting to you.
Is that like dinner when you leave a little bit? I can never...
It might be.
Wait, what? Hang on, you don't...
Yes, that's like dinner.
Quite often...
Wait, do you not finish your dinner?
Quite often I'll leave just
I'll leave a wee bit,
a mouthful, yeah.
And then I'll put the plate over there, and then in a couple of hours I'll go, "There's some peas left." So I was taking the piss, but you're actually
but
right.
wait, so you... But would you go back...
It's like dinner. You dumb.
Hang on, I need to get my head around this. So you go back, you leave it for yourself later because you're full, presumably?
No, because I want more.
Right. You can make more, though.
The cost of living crisis.
And but you won't go back for it later, will you?
Not often, no.
So
in fact, almost.
And it's also not because you're full.
I think I get bored a little bit as well.
Right, and then that I can understand. But
of eating, I'm like, that's enough. That's enough of all this.
I have kind of the opposite, whereas like if there's a bit left, even if I am so full, I'm like, well, I can't just leave.
Well, that's polite over here.
A small bit
over here.
Over here. HSBC advert.
Well, you're talking from someone who used to live in Japan, so it is right to say over here. You know, to
right.
remind me of the
cultural.
cultural.
Have you seen that HSBC advert that was like?
Maybe you do have ADHD.
Have you seen that HSBC advert?
What one?
Well, you keep making fun of me for my problems. Have you seen the HSBC advert with the guy?
Yes, I am.
With two guys reviewing. No, go on.
HSBC.
Has anybody seen that HSBC advert?
Yeah, no, please go
Where
on.
the guy is like an American businessman and he's like, he's trying to make a good impression on these Japanese businessmen, and they give him a big eel soup and he keeps finishing it.
Right, and
then they're like, get more eels. And he's like, oh, for fuck's sake. And it's because in their culture, if you finish a plate of food, that means you're dunzo magunzo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want more, you know? But you're in their culture, you're supposed to leave a wee bit. So they're
so
like,
they know you're full.
So are you saying that everyone in Japan has ADHD?
I'm saying me and Gareth are Japanese people, and you are a filthy gaijin.
Yeah, okay. Do we have any information on the tattoos of Nobuo Uematsu?
So I found these great files
Come
that
on.
are Nobuo Uematsu's naked body.
Right.
And I searched every inch of it.
Yep.
No tattoos.
But
interesting scars.
No song?
HSBC. Has anybody seen that HSBC? With two guys reviewing, three guys reviewing tattoos. We're gonna Google image search and then we'll choose if it's tattoo Boohoo or tattoo Boohoo. We're judging the ink, yeah, that's what we do. Full sleeve or face, that's a big skull or wing bash. You pick the design, is it bad or just fine? A dragon or a skull, pretentious or no, you cannot hide, and we will decide if it's tattoo Woohoo or tattoo Woohoo. Yeah.
Love the look of bafflement on Gareth's face there. Unsure what to do whilst that's going on.
How often what do your regular guests react to with that?
They're normally the same. They just look unclear of what to do with their face or body whilst it's happening because they know they're being filmed.
Yeah.
Should they react to it? Should they just watch it? Sometimes unclear as to...
It's a bit like when you see a homeless guy doing something in a train station.
Yeah.
And you're like... I remember I was in Charing Cross train station one time and a guy came down the stairs and like part of his nose was missing. There was like blood coming out. He'd been in a fight. And I didn't know what to do, so I just looked at him and went... Alright. the guy went, and I went, no. And he went, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a wee bit like that.
I think it was like that. So you're telling me Nobuo Uematsu has no tattoos?
I couldn't find any. However, we are in luck. Our guest, Gareth Waugh, has a Final Fantasy VII tattoo.
Can we see it?
Yeah. There we go. Is that in camera?
I think it's right behind the microphone. I'll spot you.
Okay, so what we have here is the slowly fading outline of two of the game's
Is this deliberate?
characters.
So yes, it's a.
It's not what you should ask someone you're talking about tattoos.
What do they call it? It's
Italian.
a silhouette.
Yes.
Of 1997 Cloud Strife, and then the modern reimagining of, and I wanted them to be black. And the
Yep.
tattoo artist went, "That'll look shit."
Yes.
He went, "It'd look better if I do loads of dots." So that's what he did, and I think he was right. I think it does look better.
Yeah.
It's solid black.
Was he having a games tattoo?
Yeah.
Do you ever get that thing where, like, someone asks you what it is? Do you ever get like a little pang of like, oh, I wish I didn't have to explain this to someone who doesn't understand
I
games?
think every single tattoo that you have to explain is lame.
Yeah.
When people ask you what it means, and it's just them showing an interest, but it's like, go, why don't you fuck off and die?
Yeah.
Don't look at my body.
Don't make me describe it. So what's this nipple thing you got going on? It's just my nipple. I was a woman at first in the womb, and then I developed into a man, and they were no longer needed.
I actually got it to remember my mum because my mum had nipples.
Yeah.
And my dad actually.
Nipple
Baby.
I make stuff up.
Come on, nipple baby,
Nipple
guys.
baby, yeah.
Come
We're all
on.
nipple babies.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
People often ask me...
Sorry, Chris just singing the song from
Wolf of Wall Street.
Can you do Sephiroth like that?
Yeah.
Sephiroth.
People often ask me if that tattoo is the gorillas, and I say yes.
Oh, it does look a bit like the gorillas.
Yeah, I love cool
They're not
music.
the only fucking characters that have been standing sideways, man.
Yeah.
They're not the only cartoons in the world.
Yeah.
It's actually Tom and Jerry.
Plenty other fuckers stand in profile.
Yeah, big
Are you into other sort of, you like anime and stuff? You a bit of a weeb, Gareth? That fair thing to say?
I'm not a huge anime person, really.
Right, okay.
I've watched a bit of stuff, but it's alright.
So anyway, this tattoo, I'm going to give it a woohoo. We decided long ago it'd be too rude to boohoo our guests.
I'm gonna straight up woohoo. No,
I think you could boohoo, I guess.
yeah, no, I boohooed Roscoe, and I think I boohooed you boohooed one of Crystal's, I think.
Did I?
Yeah.
Roscoe also has a video game tattoo.
Yeah, Pac-Man.
Yeah, but it's
Pac-Man.
wrong. It's wrong. We discussed it.
Yeah.
It's
So it
going
has
the wrong way.
dots behind it. That's
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
how
whereas-
Pac-Man works. He thinks it's coming up from an angle and then turning, and then there's dots to the left, and you're like,
That's crazy.
in what world would that be
What
the case?
map does that happen in?
Yeah.
Name the map.
I've got time.
Anybody got a cartographer's number?
waiting.
So that's cool. And we've had tattoos from the same artiste.
We have.
From Noemi, the Italian watermelon tattoo lady. I think I told a story before where I tried to impress her because she was attractive and she did not care.
Yeah. What's frustrating about my one, and it really fucking goes through me all the time now, I can't stop thinking about it because I have anxiety. I saw it on her Instagram page. I thought if you picked them, then she didn't do them anymore, but that is not the case.
Oh,
Flash.
Yeah.
yeah. Some other people got the same tat as you.
Well, I've seen it in the shop. Yeah, I've seen a photo and I was like, oh, fuck, I've already said yes to that one.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was getting this one to remind me to be creative, and I just fucking stole somebody else's fucking thing.
That's actually a symptom of ADHD.
Is it?
Yeah.
Thievery?
What's your favourite songs off this album?
Ooh, it's good. I love Cosmo Canyon. I think it's so different to the rest. There's a Japanese rapper who sampled it, and it's fucking bananas.
Do you know their name?
I can't remember.
It's a Japanese name.
Do you know how I found out about it? Was that documentary you sent me? The Kotaku?
Mosey on Down by Tim Rogers.
Bingo.
I'm wearing my Tim Rogers t-shirt as we speak.
There we go.
Sorry for getting belly out on cam.
I love that.
It's my Tim Rogers t-shirt.
Yeah.
I love him so much. Yeah, so there's a
yeah, it was
great,
great.
what is it, like a 7-hour video series documentary where he compares the English translation of Final Fantasy to his own translation because he speaks fluent Japanese.
Yeah.
And he just goes all the little details and weird racist stuff that the English translator put in because he only had like 2 weeks to do it.
That's the thing when you listen to any of these stories about video games being made, they're always on such a tight schedule. And I'm like, I think it's because they were just like dudes hanging out. They were having too much fun and went, fuck, we need to finish this.
I think it's because like the programmer people are very programmy people, so
Right.
they're not thinking about the music. And then they're like, "Can you do the music?" And a guy's like, turns
Yeah,
out
he's
to
not
be an
getting enough
incredible
time.
artist
Yeah.
who can help him, but like he's not. They're not thinking about his art. They're just thinking
Yeah.
we need music to go with it.
Yeah. I do like a lot of them. I think the problem with it now is it's obviously like polyphonic, like 16-bit audio, which frankly makes it a mockery to have it on 32-bit vinyl.
The MIDI sounds are quite.
Yeah.
What happened there?
I kicked over my water bottle in
At a
shock
protest?
at Gareth's hot take. Yeah.
It sort of is, man. Like the whole thing with vinyl is like people are like, oh, it doesn't sound better. It does. It's 32-bit audio. CDs are 16-bit audio. MP3s are like fucking 8. Like it's all bad. But this is like just like little MIDI keyboard sounds. Yeah, but I mean, it's just a sick thing to have and I enjoy it. And I think that's the fun thing is like, because when you're playing the game back in the day, you didn't think, this sounds all MIDI and daft. You just thought it sounds almost like an orchestra's doing it. And then when, like now that an orchestra actually plays it, you go, oh, right, this is exactly how I remember it sounding.
This was like a huge leap forward in terms of the game because it was all the kind of like Final Fantasies 1 through 6 were like these kind of more traditional Japanese fantasy things. It was quite European fantasy, and then there was kind of, you know, the
There's knights and wizards.
knights and wizards, and there was some robots as well. Let's
Yeah,
give
yeah,
them
yeah.
credence. They had some robots, but
Yeah, this went full
this was like
steampunk.
sci-fi. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
steampunk
what
sci-fi.
this album reminded me of listening to? Close to the Edge by Yes.
Can I shock you?
Please.
Nobuo Uematsu, huge Yes head.
Really?
Loves them.
I know. I already knew.
Loves prog rock.
Yeah. Okay. He's in. I know he's in a prog rock band or has been.
The Black Mages.
Yes, and
That's
they've done versions of. They've done like prog rock versions of his Final Fantasy songs.
That's the kind of main difference between somebody like Nobuo Uematsu and then the guy who does like the Dragon Quest, because Dragon Quest's a bigger JRPG in Japan, but it hasn't really caught on over here because they're not doing shit like this where they're like, it's a fucking eco-terrorist played
Yeah.
out through a JRPG, you know.
It's quite. He's also got a bit of imposter syndrome. I've found. I don't. He doesn't actually say that, but he talks about going to the first concert, the orchestrated concert. He's like, all these people have been studying music since they were like 3 or 4. They can read it better than me. They can play it better than me. But they're playing my music, and I'm just going, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that and thinking, you know, you should believe in yourself. And then it gets to the bit where the entire orchestra is going C H O
Yeah.
C O B O, and I was like, yeah, they shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
That's
But
actually
it is great that, like, you know, that they do speak about how much he did with how little he had, and for him to be like a self-taught, non-classically trained musician and be able to do that. What are you laughing
I
at?
thought you were going to say self-taught nonce.
Be a self-taught nonce. No one had really
You
taught
gotta-
him how to.
How hard it is to find a nonce course? That's unbelievable. I think, well, I mean, for certain ones, he's like, if I'd known, I think he said about the prelude, he was like, if I'd known it was going to be used on all the games, I would have
Yeah.
done something a bit more jazzy.
But
But,
then-
then that's why it works, I guess.
Yeah, the
I didn't
simplicity
think
of
that
it's
way.
beautiful.
Yeah, if it wasn't good, it wouldn't have been used in all the games. They'd have been going,
Yeah.
oh, let's do another prelude each time. So, you know, like, listen, hey, Nobuo, have some fucking belief in yourself. Go on, lad.
Believe in yourself.
So something we do every week, Gareth, is we each choose a song from.
I got to tell you about this.
It's okay.
That's all right. I'll be good.
We each choose a song from the album we've covered to add to the ever-growing Enjoyed Album playlist, and we also choose a song based on our conversation or stuff that this album has inspired to add to the playlist. So we'll do ours first, and we'll give you a moment to think about yours. Chris, do you have a song that you would like to add?
From this record, I would
Sure.
like to add on, I haven't even talked about it the whole time. It's my favourite song from the record. It's Underneath the Rotting Pizza.
Yeah, great name.
Do
Do you think I could call my friend's show Underneath the Rotting Pizza?
Yes.
I might do that.
What about you?
I'm going to put on Genova.
Oh yeah, it's sick.
Funky futuristic synth beats.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Very good. And Gareth, do you have a favourite song on the album you'd like to put on?
God, it's frustrating now because there's like 3 that I think should be on there. I'm gonna go with. It's probably not my favourite, but I'm gonna go with One Winged Angel because I think it's the
Nice prog rock opera.
It's such a weird amalgamation of different things, and it almost shouldn't work at all. And when it's orchestrated, it's pretty spectacular. If you've got the orchestrated version, I'd chuck that in.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can find that. We put it on the playlist, and we also put on a second song.
Can I just say, by the
And
way,
also, Sephiroth is the best part of the game. He's the best
I think
baddie
so.
of all time.
it just reminded me because the whole album is like 4 hours long, and then there's no vocals except for like the Sephiroth chorus.
Yeah, and it's just
it
his
reminded
name.
me of Wet Leg.
Right.
Because they really held off on using similes the whole album, and then on one track, just one simile, and it just goes
Makes it more powerful.
restraint.
Yeah. It's like it's like as a stand-up.
It's like
but when
swearing, you don't use a swear.
You swear
And then you
words.
deploy it right.
You call a guy a cunt at the right moment.
Whoa!
Oh my god! Hey, no, come on! You
Excuse
call
me,
a guy-
it's a family podcast.
Bleep that so you can play that for the kids.
Yes. My second song I'm going to put on is going to be Nobuo's prog rock band, the Black Mages, with their cover of Last Battle from Final Fantasy VII. It sounds like a classic prog rock fucking anthem. Screaming or guitars, synth, piano. It's cool as fuck. Cool to listen to. What's your bonus track, Christopher?
I'm going to stick on Sea Powers, Whirling and Rags,
Yes.
8 p.m. from the Disco Elysium soundtrack. It's honestly...
Yeah.
It's
What an
like
amazing
a
game.
sad dance of death.
What an amazing experience that game is. Highly recommended.
Phenomenal, best game I've ever played.
And
no
Gareth,
offense.
we have put you on the spot a bit here. Christopher should have told you this, but he hadn't. But you look okay. Have you got a bonus track you'd like to add on to it?
I've got a choice between 2, I think, for it, and it'd be like something like, because this is obviously basics of video game music. I thought something that's like a bit big and like huge. So it'd be between the Dragonborn theme from Skyrim, which I quite like, which is all vocals pretty much.
Go fuck you.
Yeah. It just starts off very foreboding. Or like, I really love the Last of Us soundtrack.
Oh, that mad Spanish guy?
Yeah,
Oh,
Gustavo
yeah.
Santaolalla, who also did Brokeback Mountain.
Blow, blow, blow. That's the opening. Just
Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding.
yeah.
We're really doing it justice.
Yeah.
I just played Last of Us for the first time and I really enjoyed it.
It's very good.
Controversial opinion, it's a good game.
I think it's a good story. I don't think it's a good game. The gameplay, I think, is bad. But we can
it's
get
not
to that
ideal.
another time.
Someone doesn't know how to
It's just-
sneak around zombies.
It's just tapping the button Y for 16 hours, but that's fine. That's fine.
I'm playing The Witcher 3 and it's tapping circle and
Yeah.
then square.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
Overrated.
I thought I was getting near the end of it and I was like, here we go, I can move on and I can start Elden Ring again.
Yeah.
And it came up end of Act 1 and I went,
Yeah.
fuck this.
Did you get to scale
hot
again?
take, games are too big.
Too big.
Yep.
The remake of this,
Yeah.
35, 40 hours, perfect.
Yeah, not bad.
Gareth, thank you so much for coming and joining us and bringing Final Fantasy's soundtrack down for us to listen to.
Did you enjoy an album?
Hey,
What's his album? He
Oh,
chose
yeah.
it. I was about to ask you. That's what I was. Christopher, did you enjoy an album?
Right, do it again.
oh no, I wish,
think that's fine.
I wish none of it happened. I was going to go yes.
Oh.
I did some laugh the other day, and I said, "Hey, this has been some laugh," and they went, "We don't do that." So I was going to go. I've enjoyed the company.
Yes.
Wow.
Christopher, did you enjoy an album?
Enjoyed the album, enjoyed the company, great being here, loving it, every moment with these.
I really
crazy
relaxed
kids.
until it started. Well, it was tense. I did not have fun at first.
Well, the album.
No, not the album.
The conversation.
podcast.
Yeah, but we're
It was
here.
awkward.
We made it.
Relaxed
I'd love
into
it
it.
if we made it.
I enjoyed the album. I enjoyed the company.
I don't think you did enjoy the album. You kept on about the length.
Yeah. Did you really enjoy an album?
Tell the truth.
Did you enjoy listening to this?
Or
Well,
did you find the whole thing tedious?
The soundtrack. I mean, look, I made a soundtrack that was the running order of the record you have, which is not the 4.5 hour version. It's an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So that was much more listenable. If you're going to go and listen to a 4.5 hour game soundtrack, then I think you have something wrong with your brain. Okay, go listen to something
So,
else.
did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed the vinyl version. Yes. Then I listened to. Sure. It is a rock opera. I enjoyed it. Will I listen to it
not a
again?
rock opera.
Probably not. It is like a rock opera.
And this feels like the start again. What a perfect circle.
Time is a flat circle. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you. Oh dear. Yes. And thank you, listeners, for
first time I've heard
listening.
that.
Thank you, viewers, for viewing. Thank you, album enjoyers, for enjoying. Thank you, patrons, for Patreoning.
Can I also say,
No,
you
no.
guys have one of the best Manscaped adverts I've heard. I think these are very
What
good.
did we talk about in it?
Your smooth dolphin bodies with boy penises.
That's what we've
and
got. That's what we're
your
rocking.
nostril hairs, which,
Yes.
by the way, your nostrils look incredible right now.
Just
Don't they
redone
just-
them again with the
It's,
trimmer.
it's working.
Yeah,
My
man.
girlfriend was like, "Why?" I'm not gonna-
I used to think, whoa, that's a daddy long legs.
Finish your sentence.
No.
She was like, "Why are you slagging off our Funko Pop collection publicly when in the house you speak to them and feed them dinner?"
Yeah, I do
Kiss
push
goodnight.
little teaspoons full of beans up to their tiny lips. Don't get me wrong, I do that, but I'm
They-
ashamed of
you
them.
don't take them out of packaging though, do you? They're in the packaging.
No, but the front of the package got a lot of beans. So.
That's why you got to keep them in the packaging.
Anyway, peace and love of the new millennium. God bless.
See you later. Bye.